Now at this point for Drake, things really couldn't get any worse for most other artists because from his reputation to his new music releases since the Kendrick beef, everything's been at an all-time low in all senses of the phrase, but now most recently, while everything has been seemingly turning on Drake and his career is reaching a rock bottom that only few other former superstars have remotely even been close to. The one thing that Drake still has had going for him is that he is not from the US or from a region that is occupied by any other major players in the rap world. And because of this, he has had full control over his own country of Canada and most importantly, his home city of Toronto, as from trying to embrace the Six more than he has in years to try and invalidate the claims Kendrick said about him on Not Like Us about Drake never leaning into his city's roots, to then using his power in the region to ban Kendrick Lamar affiliate Schoolboy Q from being able to even perform in the city, which while not being fully confirmed initially that Drake did this, we now have further confirmation that this actually was the case and he is not allowing people who went against him or stood by Kendrick to perform in Toronto, as R&B singer and TDE signee Sir came to play in Toronto as well and was told that he could not perform. At this point, with everything against him, now Drake has been using his home city as a safe zone where he can cut people off who he does not like from being even able to show up in his city and do the job that they were supposed to. But even with this said, if Drake really wants to ban all of his rivals, he is going to have to work much harder and ban a lot more people because right now, around the same time of all of this, former collaborator and a good friend of XXXTentacion, DJ Scheme, came into Toronto for a show at the venue Drake is a partial owner of. And during his set, he played Not Like Us, and as this clip went viral online, and the entire world just saw people in Drake's hometown singing the song that has destroyed him, people did not just humiliate him even more, but somebody who was banned from Toronto like Schoolboy Q showed respect to Scheme for standing up against Drake and the ridiculous stuff he is doing. But what's most important about this whole moment is that none other than X's best friend and most iconic collaborator in the entire music industry, Ski Mask the Slump God, also went on social media to celebrate that DJ Scheme disrespected the last thing Drake held sacred and the reason why Scheme did this, and Ski supported it so hard to send a tweet out and let the world know how he is feeling, was not directly because they are Kendrick fans who were trying to stick up for somebody like Schoolboy Q directly, although this was definitely a part of it. But for them, it was to nod to their close friend XXXTentacion, who despised Drake and in his honor, diss Drake in a way that would hit harder than anything else they could do. But before we look at how and why X's friends carried out his mission of destroying Drake, and what this really means for them, we need to shout out today's sponsor PrizePicks, which is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Now, PrizePicks is really simple to play as I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds, and their quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and enormous selection of players and stat types make PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Now, with the Olympics underway, I can put my USA basketball knowledge to the test, and with PrizePicks special offers, as long as somebody like LeBron James scores just a single point, you will win. And if you want to try PrizePicks for yourself, you click the link in the description or pinned comment and play a $5 lineup, you will get $50 instantly just for playing. So if you want to try out the #1 way to play daily fantasy sports, hit that link in the description or pinned comment. And now, getting back to Drake's most disturbing rap beef. When it comes to the past of Drake and X, it is one of the most complicated relationships Drake has ever had with any other artist he's been in opposition with. And while a lot of people have some crazy conspiracies about what went down between these two, while we can look into the speculation and try to put things together, Ski Mask and Scheme have told us directly everything that we need to know, as they have publicly been on record saying that they hate Drake, not because they believe the conspiracies are true, which is something Ski Mask has clearly went out of his way to say. But even with this, as Scheme has stated, his fundamental issue with Drake is that after the loss of XXXTentacion, all Drake did was play on the conspiracies people were throwing out to build that tough guy image that he has tried so hard to pull across, as on tracks like I'm Upset all the way back in 2018 to On BS from Her Loss in 2022. Drake has not stopped dropping bars that don't just coincidentally mirror what he has been accused of doing to X, but they are intentionally designed to play into the idea of what he has been accused of. And although Scheme and Ski seem to know that Drake was not actually responsible for what happened to their close friend, they still despise him for just acting like such a disgusting human being throughout this entire situation, as he hasn't just not shown any empathy or respect for X, but just so his music can get more attention and streams, he has actually mocked and disrespected such a serious situation. So this brings us here to most recently, where Scheme just embarrassed Drake even more than he has been this summer by playing the most anti-Drake song there has ever been right in a building that he literally owns. And now, while it's honestly crazy in the first place that Scheme was able to even perform at this venue, as he has made it very public that he does not like Drake over the years. I guess with everything going on, Drake forgot about this feud he has had with X's friends and let them sneak past the border, and as they have been the only group of people so far that are against Drake who have been able to actually play since the beef in Toronto, they didn't just have a chance to play their music in the city that's live music scene is about to change drastically, but they had the opportunity to check Drake, embarrass him, show a sign of respect to a rapper like Schoolboy Q who lost the ability to even come to Toronto, and most importantly for Scheme and Ski Mask, and why they have even instigated this feud and spoken out about how they feel nothing but bitterness for Drake. They created such a pivotal moment in the music world by doing this, and with Kendrick Lamar's music being the voice of this Hall of Fame level response they are giving to Drake after years of him taunting X. When you also consider that Kendrick was a massive fan of X and he supported his music just because he was able to resonate with the raw emotion he showed that only few other artists of his time could replicate. All of this seems like it could not have lined up better if you tried, because every single thing that went down with this one clip made for the perfect way to kick Drake even more when he has already been stuck on the ground. And while it's not necessarily the go-to way in any sort of musical feud to kick another artist when they are down, as Drake has done nothing but kick around their good friend XXXTentacion in lyrics ever since 2018. I think if you're gonna go as far to do something like that, all rules are off, and this was really the ultimate way of paying respect to X and showing that while he may not be here currently to defend himself from Drake and their beef, which started all the way back in 2017, when Drake stole X's flow from Look At Me and didn't own up to it, that they will still find a way to make the damage done to Drake even worse than what he has tried alluding to about X, because at the end of the day, at this moment in time where everything is against Drake and now even in his own city, it has been proven that people there will openly scream every lyric to a track that embarrasses and exposes Drake in a way that we will probably never see about any other artist in our lifetime again. It just shows that even on Drake's home turf, despite his ability to ban people he doesn't want coming from playing there, the people who actually live there don't have the same type of respect for him that other areas in hip-hop have for the artists that come from their cities, which at the end of the day, when we look back to a Drake diss track like Push-Ups and see lyrics like this, it only makes things even funnier and more ironic, because this beef didn't just unite LA, but now at this point, it has brought together what feels like the entire US against Drake, as rappers from all around the country have publicly bashed him, and now even in Toronto, on the ground that Drake is trying to defend, as it's the last place he thought he could hide from his failure in. Even this hasn't lasted, and this is not just about Kendrick Lamar anymore, but after years of taunting somebody who can't even defend themselves. The fact that Scheme pulled this off is amazing, and it really just shows, while Drake fans try to make it out like he is some victim still, that when he's getting dissed by all of these other rappers and teams, it is mostly because he has just done horrible things to other people, and right now, I'm sure that X is smiling down and seeing that Drake finally got what he deserved. So with all this said, let me know, do you think XXXTentacion's friends did a good job at trolling Drake and making this absolute nightmare that his career is in get even worse? Or do you think that Drake has still been left off way too easy considering the horrible things he has alluded to about X? I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you want to hear how things are about to get much worse for Drake as ASAP Rocky plans to drop a diss track on him, check out the suggested video.